clips of the follow through with Clips. And Drew, if you're not familiar, you could probably tell that he's the biggest Clipper fan in the world. Clips,
What up, combo?
what's the vibe? What's the vibes,
Welcome
my
home,
guy?
man. Welcome home. I want to hear about All-Star Weekend with you, man. I'm really interested. Looked like you had a really great time.
Yeah, it was great, man. You know, a lot of events. Was in the building Saturday, was in the building Sunday. I had a great time, and it just interesting to see the internet absolutely roasting All Star Weekend. After I had a great time, it's funny. It's like I see all these takes and opinions on how bad things were, but I had a great time. That's all I could say. Like, do you feel like there's a solution for All Star Saturday and All Star Sunday?
Well, it seems like the only thing that motivates the guys are money, right? And like that's shouldn't be the case. You should be like when you make an NBA All-Star team, it should be something. I mean, all the quotes last night came back from Kobe. So many Kobe quotes, right? Talking about the All-Star game and how it used to be competitive. And it was I forgot who said it last night, but they're like, I think it was Larry Bird, but he's like, this should be the most competitive pickup game of the year, right? It's all the best players in the world. People should want to win it. You know, if they make it so East or West gets home court advantage for the finals, like that means something. You know what I'm saying? And I think it has to mean something because everything I've heard is like the money you get for becoming an all-star, basically that just covers the weekend, like the family you get to bring out, the hotels, like all that stuff. But I mean, I can guarantee you Kawhi Leonard would rather be anywhere else in
100%.
the world besides All-Star Weekend,
You
right?
want you want you want to hear my Kawhi take? Because
Tell
I,
me.
I don't I don't think I've ever seen him play in person before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big dude, bro.
Dude, he's a
That's a
he's a unit.
that is a big dude because Jalen Brown ain't no small guy, and when you see him next to Jalen Brown, he's like a lot bigger than him, bro. Like that is not he's not the size of a guard or even a wing. Like he's like the size of a big. Like I know he's not 7 feet, but like body wise, that is a big playing like a wing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just his pure strength, dude.
Yeah,
He's a game changer, and he's
yeah.
gotten so much better. I mean, I could talk about Kawhi all day, man. Um, he doesn't get enough love. Like everybody knows about Kawhi and how good Kawhi is, but until you watch him every single night and see what he can do, and again, I've watched every Kawhi game that he's played in as a Clipper for the past 5 years, and he's just remarkable. There is so much. If you look at that fadeaway and his footwork, there is so much Mike and Kobe in his game, and he doesn't get compared to them enough.
Yeah, and I saw the left hand floater yesterday. Obviously, he wasn't playing super hard, but his skill level is just so complete, and you could tell that's a guy that works on his game. And on top of that, he's never going to show you what he's doing on social media. I mean, Dame's the guy that doesn't really show you what he's doing on social media, but Kawhi doesn't even have social media. But you could just tell that he reps out skill development at a very high level. Like he is working on his game.
Everybody will tell you that too. I mean, Paul George talks about it on his show all the time. Like Kawhi stays in the gym. And I think the crazy thing about Kawhi is there's no wasted movement ever. He
Yeah.
will take you to the spots he wants to go. There's no dribble, there's no like just no wasted movement whatsoever. And it's so meticulous and methodical, man. It's a chess game for him.
Yeah, I mean, so do you believe the numbers aren't like the Lukas, the Embiids, even the Jokic's, right? Do you believe he deserves more MVP buzz?
100% for what he's doing for our team. And yeah, maybe the individual numbers aren't there, but the efficiency's there. If you're doing what is it? He's 90 50 or whatever it's called, 60 from the field, 50 from 3, 90 from the 3-point line. Like that hasn't been done. And that's what he's been doing since December 1st. Like the efficiency and the amount of shots that he takes per game. I think he should, man. I think and again, I'm biased, I guess. I try to keep it real when talking about the Clippers, but Kawhi Leonard and what we're doing right now is this is what we've been waiting for. Like this version of Kawhi healthy with PG. Like there are just so many monsters on this team. And even going down to the 7, 8, 9 guys, like the Tice pickup was great. Zubac's gotten better. Amir Coffey, the Folger Soldier, who we've developed, we drafted and developed. He's turning into now the seventh guy. Storm and Norman, like this guy's shooting at a super high clip right now. And we talked about it on our show the other day. one of our followers on our page, who participates with us all the time. He's like, man, Norman Powell reminds me a lot of Vinnie Johnson, right? The microwave. And he's like, he's the new version. He's the air fryer now. Like, that's what Norman Powell is. So I love it. But with Clipper fans, dude, and with me, and it's we have PTSD, right? So we're always constantly waiting for like the shoe to fall, right? We're waiting for, all right, something's gonna happen with PG's shoulder. We all know James Harden's history. When's he gonna get pissed off? We're waiting for that shoe to fall. And I just hope it doesn't, man. I hope it doesn't. There isn't a clear cut, Denver's the best team, Milwaukee's the best team, Lakers are great. Like, there's no clear cut champion this year. It's wide open, I think.
But that's what's giving every fan base confidence right now at the same time, right?
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, but the teams that have it and that don't, right? Like,
Mhm.
you just know. Like, I'm not sold. As good as Minnesota is, I am not sold on Minnesota. And especially with the shit that I saw this week, excuse my language, with what I saw from Anthony Edwards, the left-handed stuff. He looked high as hell in the pregame and during that. Like, it looked horrible. He did two things. They beat the Clippers last week, right? And it was a big game for us. I really wanted to beat Minnesota. But towards the end of the game, they were up 15. He comes down the court, shoots a bank three on purpose, right? Hits it, and is like talking to his own bench, going crazy. And then the next time down, he came down and did it again in a complete like side of the backboard, horrible shot. And Chris Finch immediately called timeout and put him on the bench, because it's like, why are you doing that? Like, act like you've been there. You know what I'm saying? So those little things, I'm just not sold on Minnesota. Obviously scared of Denver. I'd be scared of the Lakers in the playoffs too. But like, who do you got? What are you thinking?
I think Denver will win again if Jokic could play like Jokic, how Jokic played last playoff series and finals. It was just like that's like a high level Hall of Famer run he had. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
playing at Hall of Fame level when well, Kawhi in Toronto was Hall of Fame level as well. So, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen many performances like Jokic in the history of the NBA throughout last playoffs and in the finals. And
Yeah.
I just think he's an absolute difference maker. I also think he's the best player in the league by far. I know they don't have as much depth this year, and they are struggling right now.
Yeah, that's a big key. They lost a lot of key players to that. I mean, you're right. And we're only in February right now. There's about 30 games left. A lot of things can change, right? We're
Yeah,
seeing what's happening in Milwaukee. I want to see how these Dallas pickups, the Gafford and
that's
who
gonna
else did
help.
they got? They got one more one that I'm.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
I
help.
like Daniel Gafford. He's
PJ Washington.
Washington, underrated guy, right? They're
Yeah,
they're they're putting the right pieces around Luka.
yeah.
He's not an easy guy to, you have to find the right puzzle pieces to put around Luka, and those two pickups, I really like both of them, and I'd like to see how they turn out. I want to see how Dinwiddie works out with the Lakers. Like, he
Yeah,
could be a
he's
really
interesting.
big pickup for them.
I
He's
like the
very interesting.
I like the Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Dinwiddie combo with AD and LeBron. If they could ever work that out, I think that's like modern basketball to its T. And you have AD and LeBron in that lineup on top of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to see how that goes. I want to see. I'm surprised. I don't mean to take it back to the Clippers, but I'm
No
surprised we
that
didn't
we
get.
I actually want to get to more Clippers. So go ahead. Yeah.
Well, let's do more Clippers, because I got a lot to say. What do you want to do?
So when Ty Lue got ejected the other night, they
Hmm.
come back out. He's like basically saying, I don't know what he was saying verbatim, but like, you guys held me down. Thank you. And it's the first time I felt like in a while, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that the Clippers are starting to feel like they have some sort of culture. I know it's early. I know they didn't win a championship yet. I know we didn't even get to the playoffs yet, so we don't know what's going to happen. But everybody always talks about culture with the homegrown teams, like obviously the Heat. I mean, it's Heat culture, right?
Hmm.
The Warriors were built from the ground up. The Nuggets, the latest champs, built from the ground up, homegrown talent. Ballmer is a guy that'll just like pay his way to bring in talent. Some people would call it quick fixes, if you will. But that moment with Ty Lue, I started to feel like the Clippers are starting to gain some type of culture.
I totally agree, and it starts in the front office, right? And that game that Ty got kicked out of, the Golden State game, which we came back from 15. Right? The last time we played them, December 2nd, when we started our run, this run from December the beginning of December to now, Paul George hit the game winner in that game. We were down 22, come back, we win that game. Anyways, Ty Lue never gets kicked out of games ever. He is very
Right,
mild
right.
mannered.
Yep.
His temperament is cool. So I made a joke about it saying, he just wanted to get the early vacation. But you're right. That showed. I said it was kind of a statement game. I know Golden State isn't the Golden State of old, but they had won 5 in a row at the time. They were up 15 on us, and it just looked like it was not going to happen. But the team, the Clippers, have been super resilient all year. There's been way too many times where we've been down 15 and then we end up winning by 13, 14. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think we don't keep our foot on the gas the whole game, and it comes back to bite us. But then there's this safety net, and I compared Kawhi Leonard to a safety net, because when you have a guy like that, it's so important, right? And he's that good. And in today's basketball, you can be down 15 points, but if you just lock in on defense, couple turnovers, hit a couple threes, you're right back in the game. It's that simple. And I think it was Legs. Legs was saying it on JJ's show. It's like, you're a great basketball team when you can acknowledge that you're down 13, 14 points and then just turnkey defense. Like, we're going to do all the right plays from here on out, and we're not going to make any mistakes, and we're going to win the ball game. And I'm seeing that a lot with the Clippers. And you mentioned culture, right? It's hard to establish a culture when your superstars are in and out, right? Like constantly in and out. Like Kawhi's out 17 games, 20 games, a full season. Paul George can't play in the playoffs. It's hard to establish that. But coming into this year, which is the first time I've ever seen it with the Clippers, they said we're going to take regular season seriously, right? In before the season started, Russell Westbrook had his own workout in Vegas, invites all the guys. Let's get this chemistry. Let's build these relationships right now. And when we add James Harden, right? I was the first one. I think we did a show about it. You and I think you were on our show and we talked about it. Where I didn't see it working, right? I just don't. I didn't see.
I think Combo did see it working, right?
Did you say it? You said that, and so did Drew. Like, there's a version of it working,
Uh,
right? It was more of the dude. He's gonna ruin the chemistry. Our chemistry was really good in the summer. There was this thing with Bones. We were really high on Bones,
yeah,
and
I love Bones' game. Yeah,
I do too.
yeah.
But and I'm glad I'm eating crow on it. But I think we're at this point with these 4 Hall of Famers, first ballot. All 4 of these guys are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. That I think the egos have been put to the side. Obviously, with Russell, Russ has been the guy that's been, sacrificing the minutes, his position on the team, and everything. And then Harden comes in, and that press conference where he said, I'm not a system player, I'm a system. It rubbed us all the wrong way, but now it makes complete sense because he is. He literally is a system, man. And he is the system. And he just makes it so much easier for Kawhi and PG to not only get to their spots, but to get open looks. Having James Harden as like your third option to get a bucket is it's phenomenal. Defensively, he's been great this year. Um, Everybody's just kind of clicking, and I think it starts with the chemistry, man. You have to have chemistry. And I couldn't be any prouder of the way that these guys have been playing. But you bring up the culture, it does. It starts with Steve Ballmer. And I compare it to, you remember the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy? And a classic Eddie Murphy movie where the 2 super rich guys they're making the bet to see if they could turn Eddie into some mogul, some stock market mogul, and at the end it was for $1, right? Because money doesn't matter to these guys. What matters is pride, and what matters is I want to win. And Ballmer is a winner. He's done everything he could possibly do since he took over this team. You want a new arena? Cool. You want the star players? Cool. You want the best coach? Cool. Like, I'm gonna put you guys all in the position, because now he's at the table with all these other NBA guys, and it's just a excuse my language, it's dick measuring contest now, right? Like, I'm going to take this horrible organization, the Clippers, and I'm going to turn them into a championship team. And I think he wants to win. And I think he wants to be at that table with the other guys that have won a championship because the money doesn't matter, right? He's the richest owner in sports, right? There's nobody even close to him right now. So I think when you have the money and you spend it correctly on the right things, starting with coaches and assistant coaches and getting the right players around your stars, that's why, I was so shocked when we got Harden because I'm like, who signed off on this? Did Ballmer just, say, okay, James Harden's up for 36 million, just give him 36 million? I should have thought about, obviously there was a conversation with Ty Lue and with the rest of the guys like, yeah, this guy is probably going to work. If we can get him here on this page, this could be the best version of this basketball team. So I know I'm rambling right now, but everything Ballmer's done has paid off, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you could have sustained success when you do it in that manner? Because as I said, like I talked about how the Warriors homegrown and the Nuggets homegrown and Miami always talks about culture. Like even if they win it this year, do you think the way the front office has built this team, it could still have some kind of sustainability if they win a championship this year or if they don't?
I think I think there's some things we would have done differently, right?
Yeah.
As far as I think Presti finessed us in the Paul George trade. I think we probably could have fought back a little bit more on the picks or even keeping SGA in that circumstance. I think we would have done a few things differently. I think we have and you keep talking, you bring up homegrown. I mean, there ain't one player. It's Dinwiddie's the only player on the Lakers from LA, right? Like we are legit LA guys. Kawhi,
That's
PG,
true.
Russ, and Harden. Like these guys, you don't get more homegrown than that. And it means something to them, right? And again, I've watched this franchise since I was 9 years old, being a ball boy for him for 10 years. Nobody wanted to be a Clipper, right? It was purgatory. It was NBA purgatory. We had no fans, we had no superstars, we had nothing. And now we're in this position, being a fan and seeing this arena that we're getting next year and seeing the superstars that we have and that want to come here. I think it's kind of like the Lakers, right? Like the Lakers, it's not hard to sell LA, right? I come play in LA for the Lakers. And I think we're going to be in that same boat. But the draft picks that we don't have can be very detrimental to us. And we're going to have a lot of money committed to Kawhi, to PG, who hasn't signed his extension, but I'm pretty sure he's going to sign the extension. And then if this goes as we plan, I don't even want to jinx a championship. I'm saying, like, if we go deep in the playoffs and Harden's a big part of that, are we gonna have to pay Harden now? Like, are we gonna have to go fork up another 35 million for Harden? Is that gonna be his going rate?
But Ballmer would be the one
I
to
think
do it, right? He would, yeah,
definitely.
yeah, especially with the new arena.
Well, we what that he wants stars, right? Like we need
Right.
stars in order. He's not going to want to go into the new arena and be like, all right, Norman Powell is going to be our main guy. Like it's not going to work. So, um, and they keep talking about how old Kawhi's 32. These guys are 32. That's not that old. And you know what I'm saying? And PG and these guys, I still think they both have 3 or 4 solid years left in them. So it'd be nice to get a little more young talent. But I don't know, man. There's something about this year and this team that says to me that we have a really, really great opportunity to win a championship. And I mean, dude, this would be huge. And to have 4 guys from LA winning a championship. Nobody deserves a championship more than Russell Westbrook, right? Can we all agree on this? Like, he deserves a championship so bad. And then I think the ego that I'm not seeing with James Harden is because I think he's finally at that point where it's like, all right, kind of how KD was before he went to Golden State. Like, I can't go down as one of the greatest basketball players ever and not have a chip. Like I have to have a chip in order to cement my legacy. And I think it's the same thing as James Harden. I think he doesn't want to go down like Karl Malone and nothing like that. So I'm just really impressed. This isn't the Harden I was expecting, and I think I just I'm shocked, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I thought a bunch of teams should have been going after him. Like I thought the Heat, he would have helped them a lot. Everybody talks about culture, but when you have a star fit of Butler and Bam and James Harden playing, the point guard, And even some people, who work in the NBA say you could even use James Harden as a four because he could guard fours, and the fours are now great passers, and the Heat need that as well. But yeah, man, I mean, he's been everything. He's been so good for them.
And everybody else, the glue guys. I mean, it all comes down to the 6, 7, 8 guys. And again, I brought up Norman Powell, I brought up Kobe Brown, or not Kobe Brown, Amir Coffey, and Terrence Mann, who's had his ups and downs. But these are all the right players, man. I think that we're all just locked in and we're focused. And I think it started in the preseason, and it started with, you know, Paul George saying he's going to be on his bully shit, which I think he's been on. I think he's been super super good for us. But at the end of the day, like it's Kawhi Leonard, man. This is the nucleus of the team. He's the most important player. He's the best player on our team, and I just I don't. When it comes down to like Drew, my our co-host Drew asked me like, who am I scared of? And I'm not scared of any team in the NBA. I'm really not. I'm not scared of Phoenix. We can take Phoenix. The only scary one, in my opinion, is the length of Minnesota, and they are the number one defense in the league, and they kicked our butts the other night because they're so long. You know what I mean? And
It
I just
wouldn't.
don't think
It, would- it wouldn't be fun for you to see SGA take out your Clippers, right?
no, I'd be happy for him. I love SGA.
Man, he's
I
great.
love SGA. I still think that they're a couple years away too, though.
Yeah,
Like
they
they've
could.
got
They could be.
everything.
Yeah, they could
They've
be.
got everything, and I wouldn't be shocked if they made it to the finals either, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
mhm.
Let's end with this. Do you feel like that it's almost a blessing in disguise that Harden, and this obviously goes for Westbrook, PG, and Kawhi aren't in their peak prime? Like they could be in their prime window. Three of them, I would say. Probably Russell Westbrook's not even in his peak window anymore. But is that a blessing in disguise that they could, because they all want to sacrifice at this point?
Yeah, because I think they've all been there and done that. All of them have the individual accolades minus the chip. I mean, Kawhi's the
Right.
only one that has a chip. Kawhi and Norm are the only guys that have a chip. And PJ's got one, but PJ ain't playing. You know, I just think you get to a point in your career where you know putting aside individual goals for the team is I mean, you should be doing that anyways, right? Because like I remember when we were getting Harden, I'm like, I don't want 35 point a game Harden. I don't want 26 shots a night from Harden. I need, I don't want that. I want somebody else. And you forget what a great passer and how smart this guy is, right? Even there's some games, man, well, where we'll be down 6, down 7, we're not really in a groove, and then he does his patented foul three-pointer, right? And then he'll get 4 shots at the line. We're down 3. It's just these smart veteran things that this guy does to keep us in ball games. But yeah, I think it is a blessing, man. I think it's a blessing that um you say Russell's not Russell is still freaking good, man. Like really good. Minus the three-point shot. He's like a pit bull coming off the bench. Nobody wants to win more than that guy.
Nobody probably has his motor in the league, and
Mhm.
nobody plays with more energy over the course of time. Like you'll never see him on low energy.
Ever, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not his thing. And,
yeah.
and and that's to a detriment too. Sometimes he's going too fast for his own good. That's why he's missing layup after layup after layup.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then he'll do something so game changing, like hands in the lane, a steal, a charge, a putback. He did the Jordan putback dunk the other night from the free throw line. Plumlee misses the free throw. He bangs out on the free throw. Like nobody does that anymore. And it's
Yeah,
those little things in that game that are the catalyst to winning the game.
totally agree. Well, Clips, where can we find you? Social media, everywhere else?
You can find me the follow through with Clips and Drew, man. We're still plugging away. Season 7. You can follow us at Clips and Drew. Posting. I'm taking a couple days off though, combo. It's
Why?
been you should take some time. I need a couple days. We got to take our all-star break too, man. Um, yeah, you can find us on Spotify, everywhere you listen to the podcast. And Combo, I appreciate you. I'm glad we're still doing this, man. We've done a lot of shows together, and I appreciate it. I'm very happy for you and seeing you grow as a podcaster with your show. And I'm just glad we keep doing this, man. We're vets in the game now, Combo. Like we're vets in the game.
We are vets. We are vets, and it's always great having you on the show to talk Clippers basketball and everything else. Um, talk soon, Clips.
All right, Combo. I appreciate you, dog. I'll talk to you soon.
Anytime.